Okay, folks, welcome to our stock chart analysis of Sohu, ticker symbol SOHU, Chinese stock ADR traded on the NASDAQ. And believe it or not, you're looking at this chart and you're probably saying, oh my God, this stock's going lower. And you're probably right. But however, we are bullish. We are bullish on Sohu stock. Tonight, we're going to talk to you about the whys behind us being bullish. So before we get to the technical analysis, let's talk a little bit about the fundamentals. Let's get it out of the way, because if you go over to StockTwits, it's funny, there is nothing happening here on StockTwits. Sohu was once a very, very popular stock, but you can see the message volume is extremely low. To me, that is bullet. Why? It's because everybody's given up. There's no hope. There are no meme stock lovers out there betting that Sohu is going to do a turnaround story. There's none of that. It's all doom and gloom, with the exception of this gentleman here. Shout out to Kafer, who identified on April the 14th that RSI is at 13. Guess what? It can go lower, and it did. Now, before that, the prior message was back on February the 19th by Stock Auto Pro. Now, I don't know if that's a service or what. Let's check it out. I don't know. But the lesson learned here is that using his technique or whatever it is that he's using, note that, and this is off topic, but I believe in multi-time frame analysis, meaning you have a hierarchy. As goes the monthly chart, usually so goes the weekly chart. As goes the weekly chart, so goes the daily chart. And in this case here, you had no better indicator that that was the case, because you had the monthly chart declining, weekly chart declining. The trend was down. Everything else was green. But after earnings, all hell broke loose on this stock. And this ran last at $14.73. Last trade on Sohu was $7.91. Pay attention to the trend, folks, from a macro view. Monthly chart, weekly chart, daily chart. Don't worry about the 15-minute chart before you check the daily chart and the weekly chart. I digress. Let's get back to Sohu. Taking a look at the fundamental analysis here of Sohu. By the way, we're using TrendSpider, an all-in-one trading product. I call it my Bloomberg terminal for the average guy. And we have everything we need here to do our analysis. We know that message volume on, again, StockTwits is very low. All the bulls have given up. The last series of messaging was back in February. So all the bulls are gone. That's a contrarian indicator. Now, in terms of fundamentals, you'll see that their revenue growth is declining and declining rapidly. Their earnings per share growth declining and declining rapidly. So the fundamental picture here for the company is not well. In fact, I would say it's an unwell company. So why do I like it? The reason is all about technical. And normally I wouldn't bother with a stock like this, because I would be concerned about ongoing concerns, meaning, will it be in business in the next couple of weeks? And the answer to that is yes. They have a ton of working capital. Granted, they're losing money hand over fist. Their cash burn rate is very, very strong. So by no stretch of the imagination is this a turnaround story whatsoever. This is purely a technical play. That's it. So now let's get to the technicals. RSI daily time frame, we are at 11.89. Now, that is extremely oversold. It is unsustainable, but guess what? We know from past experience this can go lower. And while I'm thinking about it, link below, there is a infographic about how we trade extreme oversold stocks. Link below, take advantage of it. It's free. So RSI 11.89. What else is out there? What else do we like about the company? Well, I always like a bit of validation that where there's a reason to buy, and we did begin to buy today. And the other reason is, as I took a look at the raindrop candlesticks, this is proprietary to TrendSpider, and you'll see here that on the 15th, we flashed a purple raindrop. And for those that are out there that are familiar with a doji star formation, it's a Japanese candlestick formation, looks like a cross. That is a sign of indecision or a tug of war between bulls and bears, and an indication that you're probably going to get some sort of a trend reversal. Could be a few hours, could be a few days, could be a few weeks. We don't know. So we had one yesterday. We still got follow through the downside today. Volume on a daily chart is still high. We still have institutional distribution. They want out. That's fine. We're aware of it. We're not going to go all in. We're not going to be buying our intended position all at one shot. In fact, when we enter these trades, we make the assumption our first buy will be our highest price buy, and we're probably going to go lower and we'll leg into the position. You need to be very, very humble when you enter these trades, because while they may be unsustainable in their downtrend, the fact of the matter is they can continue lower, and you don't want to use all your working capital up on any one given stock. You certainly don't want to be on margin with a trade like this, so it's critical. Leg in with a cash account. If you're going to use margin, don't use too much. So we have the doji star formation, the sign of indecision. That fired off yesterday. Good stuff. Now, before we go any further here, how would we have known to have gotten out of this stock? Because we put in a high back here, 52-week high in February. All you need to do was take your crayon out, and right there would have been your lower high. Does that mean you sell? Not necessarily, because you could have just gone into a consolidation range. But what you want to know is when you're here, you want to know where that prior low is. Now, you could either A, draw a line, which is fine. Say, okay, if we break this support level, a new lower low, it's probably best to get out. Or you could have used Fibonacci levels. They would have told you to get out once we broke down below the 38.2 level. Then you knew it was game over. Another way would have been to simply use the heat map, and you would have seen that you had a lot of resistance above, still some resistance here, coming under pressure, failure to break out and above, and then as we began to roll over and put in lower highs and then lower lows, you're out of it, okay? And you would have avoided this bloodbath. Now, I've seen this stock sell off quite a bit because it hit my scanner over a week ago that it was at extreme oversold levels. So it just entered a watch list, simple as that. The fact of the matter that today we hit a very, very important support level, not to mention the doji star from yesterday, or I should say the purple raindrop from yesterday. This is where we go to our historical support levels, because I didn't buy it for today's price action or even yesterday's price action when it had that purple doji star or purple raindrop. I bought it because of the monthly price action. Okay, so now that we've taken a look at the daily chart, we understand the whys of why we want to entertain buying this stock, because it is a very, very oversold. We're due for a short squeeze at some point in time. Why today? Why today did I decide to begin bull operations on Sohu? The reason is not the daily chart. That is just a qualifier to be here. Extreme oversold RSI. It wasn't even the purple raindrop chart from yesterday, the 15th. It has more to do with the monthly chart, believe it or not. Monthly chart, let's take a look. Now, here we have the monthly chart, and if you take a look at the automated trend lines, you can see that on the month thus far, we are trading down below critical support. However, the month is only half over. We haven't closed there yet. So one of two things is the likely outcome on a monthly chart. Is that A, if we close down below this support level, that is not bullish. The however is we will probably retrace back up to around $9 a share, and then in all probability roll back over again to new lower lows, because let's face it, the fundamentals kind of support it. Now, the reason why I bought today was not based upon the automated trend lines. It had more to do, I'm sorry about the flickering. I have a light that's doesn't know whether it wants to die or what. It has more to do with the automated Fibonacci retracement levels. We have retraced all the way back down to the lower Fibonacci spectrum, and today we bounced off of it. So That's the reason why I began bull operations today on Sohu. Again, small position, opening position. We're not arrogant here. We fully expect the stock to go lower. If it doesn't, so what? We'll make a little bit of money. If we see the stock push down even lower to another support level I have in mind, we'll go over that in a minute, then we're able to build a bigger position and then enjoy a larger ride up higher. So the way you enter these trades is that if the stock goes down tomorrow, you don't care. You view it as an opportunity. Now, taking the Fibonacci's off, again, we've done our research. We now know we have support below. We bounced off of it today. Now going to a weekly chart, notice how what we're doing here. We're really going from the monthly view to identify when we want to buy, down to a weekly view, and then to a daily and then a 4-hour view to identify whether or not we want to build on the position. First, we need to understand where historical support levels are. So back to a higher level view, weekly chart. Here we have the automated trend lines. Boom. We had broken down below support last week. This week, we reversed, failed to recapture, were rejected. That's pretty bearish stuff. It's not bullish, it's bearish. The however is, again, I'm going to use the automated Fibonacci's. We are sandwiched in between two support and resistance levels. I think that they're going to push this lower one last time, bare minimum. Maybe dance around at that support level I'm going to identify in a few minutes. Let's go to it. So on this chart here, 4-hour chart, we're going to take our crayon out and we're going to draw some trend lines. First we'll do this and then we do this. Now on the afternoon of the 15th, we technically broke out of a descending wedge formation on a 4-hour time frame. And that's why you've got that purple raindrop chart, that indecision chart, a tug of war between bulls and bears, the equivalent to a doji star formation. And today we did a retest and the final 4-hour bar we closed up. Good stuff. Is that a reason to go buying more? Absolutely not. What I want to do is I want to ignore this resistance level. And I want to pretend we didn't do the breakout. And I want to say, okay, I'm going to be a purist. All I care about are closing higher highs. That's it. So right now we are still in a downtrend channel on a 4-hour time frame. Now I think that we can get one last push down to this lower band of support. What that price is, it's just a matter of how long it takes to get down there. So tomorrow, if we hit it, well, it could be around $7.30, 35 cents. If it takes 2 days, it could be $7.10. So one way to be able to negotiate this and identify where that support level may be is simple. We're going to keep our own drawings on, then we're going to take the automated trend lines by TrendSpider and just click a button. And guess what pops up? Support right down here at around $7.15 per share. Now, if we get down here into this range, I would be an aggressive buyer of Sohu. But what I really want to see is on a daily chart, having already bounced off of these support levels on a daily chart, is to see a reversal to have traded down intraday to then have closed up on the day. In short, a bullish key reversal. That's what we're looking for here. And ideally, it comes on rising up volume. That's our indicator that we have a short-term bottom. I would be willing at that point in time to a bare minimum double, if not triple my position from where I bought it today. So that's the play here. That's what we plan on doing. That's Sohu. So folks, if you got any value out of this video, please give me a like, subscribe, you know the deal. And if you appreciate the value I've demonstrated with TrendSpider, please take advantage of their service. Again, I call it my Bloomberg terminal for the average guy. In fact, they have a promotion right now, Easter sale, big discounts. Use the link below on YouTube, link above on Twitter to head on over. I mean, the functionality that they have beyond what I've already demonstrated is just jaw-dropping, backtesting, pattern recognition tools, which we didn't use today. You can automate your trades if you want, AI, predictive modeling, studies, alerts, just so much more. Head on over, at least visit the website, check out their functionality, use that link below. Everybody have a profitable trading day tomorrow. I'll talk to you soon. Be well.